All right, so today we are going to look at the Internet of Things, right? I mean, why is it still loading? The Internet of Things. Give me a minute. All right, okay. I think that there is some problem with the Google Slides, so change it. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the Internet of Things, or IoTs. And I believe it's the term that you might have heard quite a lot in the past few years, right? Because I mean, the concept has become more widespread because, since the internet has played a very significant role in various parts of human lives. So today we're going to be looking at some of the example of IoTs that are available to us right now, and some of them may be available to you at the moment, but you may not be aware of it. So today I'm going to, at least try to raise your awareness of the availability of this type of technology around yourself as well. All right, so let's have a look at the outline of the class today. So again, I will start by defining what IoTs are, just to give you some definition. We're going to watch some videos describing the concept that the tools that are available around us as well. And then in the second part, we will look at IoTs around us. Some of the famous examples of IoTs that people have been using in the past 10 years. Then we will look at the potentials of IoTs in language learning, right? So what potential these type of tools offer to us. And then towards the end, we'll look at some challenges and concerns that we should have when we are using this type of technology. So that's the first part of the class, which will take perhaps about less than an hour. And then in the second part, it will be activities. So you will get to think about how you can use IoTs in your how you can use the tools that are available to you in your language learning. So let's start by looking at the definitions, right? So IoT, or the Internet of Things, describe, right, physical objects or group of such objects, right? So มันยังเปลี่ยนสไลด์ไหมอะไม่เปลี่ยนเหรอ Oh okay
ไม่เปลี่ยนค่ะ
thank you
ยังอยู่สไลด์เดิมอยู่เลยครับ
Okay, yes. All right. Yeah, so this is the outline. This is the outline. Okay, so just to give you a brief look at the outline again. And now let's have a look at the definition of IoT, right? So the Internet of Things describe physical objects or groups of such objects with sensors. So the first keywords, right, is sensor. So it has to be connected to some sensors in order to send the signal to internet, right? That physical object need to have some processing ability. You know, they need to be able to process data, and they need to be able to produce some capability, you know, that human can use. It also contains some software. Okay, it also contains some sort of software that is connected to internet and so on. And it's not just physical objects, right? But it's physical objects and other types of technology, okay, that connect and exchange data with other devices and system over the internet or other communication networks, right? So basically, the Internet of Things. We are talking, I think there are two terms here. The first one is internet. So it has to be connected to the net in some way. And the second thing, it has to be something quite physical. So you need to be able to at least touch that object or know that it actually exists in the way, in a physical matters, right? So you need to be able to see it, to touch it, and so on. Okay. So this, I mean, this definition may sound a little complex, but but I think if we were to put it in plain language, it would be just things, right? Things that are around us that are connected to the internet in some way. Right? But it's not just connecting just for the sake of connecting. It's connected in order to perform certain tasks, right? Okay, so I mean, if you look around you in your room right now, you might find that some of the objects that you have in your room may be classified as IoTs in some capacities, right? And we will go into details of that later today. Okay. Right. So now I have a short, relatively short, so it's not that short, video summarizing what IoTs actually are. And I think this video is a very good one because it summarizes IoTs and its use, okay, in various different domains of life, not just in education, but also in production, in business, in healthcare, and in living life in general as well. So it's a very comprehensive video clip. So let's watch this together. Just Okay. All right, so let's watch together.
Is that you might not have turned off the air conditioner. Imagine you're at work and realize that you might not have turned off the air conditioner while leaving your house. Instead of traveling all the way back home, what if you could use your smartphone to know the status of your AC and perhaps even turn it off? Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, yes. And this can be achieved with the help of the Internet of Things. Until recently, access to the internet was limited via devices like the desktop, tablet, or smartphone. But now, with IoT, practically all appliances can be connected to the internet and monitored remotely. IoT is shaping the way we live our lives. It helps us get a better insight into the working of things around us. So, what exactly is the Internet of Things? IoT is a system of interrelated devices connected to the internet to transfer and receive data from one to the other. A smart home is the best example of IoT. Home appliances like the AC, doorbell, thermostats, smoke detectors, water heaters, and security alarms can be interconnected to share data with the user over a mobile application. The user can now get detailed insight into the working of the devices around him. Think about it. Until recently, the internet helped people connect and interact with each other. But now, inanimate objects or things have the ability to sense the surroundings, to interact and collaborate with one another. For example, in the morning when your alarm goes off, the IoT system can open the window blinds, turn on the coffee pot for you, and even turn on the water heater. Although all of this is fascinating, there's a lot that goes on in the background to ensure seamless functioning. From effective communication between devices to accurate processing of the data received, a lot of components are involved. In the context of IoT devices, hardware can be classified into general devices and sensing devices. The general devices are the main components of the data hub and information exchange. They are connected either by wired or wireless interfaces. Home appliances are a classic example of such devices. The sensing devices, on the other hand, include sensors and actuators. They measure the temperature, humidity, light intensity, and other parameters. These IoT devices are connected to the network with the help of gateways. These gateways, or processing nodes, process the information collected from the sensors and transfer it to the cloud. The cloud acts as both the storage and processing unit. Actions are performed on the collected data for further learning and inferences. Wired and wireless interfaces like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, GSMs, and so on are used to provide connectivity. To ensure its ubiquity, applications need to support a diverse set of devices and communication protocols, from tiny sensors capable of sensing and reporting the desired factor to powerful back-end servers that are utilized for data analysis and knowledge extraction. To help you understand its working, let's take a simple scenario. Let's suppose you want to water your garden every time the moisture level in the soil drops. Instead of doing it manually, you could automate it using IoT. The sensors and actuators installed gauge the soil for its moisture. This information is sent to the IoT gateway with the help of communication protocols like MQTT or HTTP. The gateway significantly aggregates data and feeds it to the cloud with the help of Wi-Fi LAN. Once the moisture level drops, the system is immediately triggered and the sprinklers are turned on. However, with the information stored in the cloud, a detailed analysis like the time of the day the sprinkler was turned on, the rate at which the moisture in the soil reduces, and so on, can be done, and the report could be sent over to you on your smartphone over an app. With the improved response, monitoring, and analytical capabilities, IoT is being adopted in almost all industries and domains, opening doors to endless applications. Today, IoT is being used extensively to lessen the burden on humans. To name a few, IoT is deployed for smart homes, wearables, watches and bracelets, smart cars, smart farming, smart retail, smart grids, smart city, and smart healthcare. With such a wide spectrum of applications, the future of IT looks more promising than ever before. In 2018, there were about 23 billion connected devices, which was more than double the world population. According to experts, there will be over 80 billion devices by 2025. IoT is a vision to connect all devices with the power of the internet, always learning and always growing. Now that you have a picture of what IoT is, here's a simple question for you. Which of the following technologies is not used as an interface for a network? 1. Wi-Fi. 2. Ethernet. 3. Zigbee. 4. VPN. Give it a thought and leave your answers in the comment section below. 3 lucky winners will receive Amazon gift vouchers. The integration of IoT with other technologies like cloud computing, machine learning, and artificial intelligence is paving the way for many new and exciting innovations. And that is the Internet of Things for you in short. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to the Simply Learn channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update on the latest trending technologies.
All right. Okay. So as you can see, as you can see from the video clips, right? The Internet of Things are everywhere, right? They are connected to various different parts of humans' life, especially. And I agree with what the speaker said in the video, that one prime example of IoT is smart home. So I mean, if you're living in a smart home, right? And I think some of you may be living in a smart home right now. It's a home, it's a house actually. So it's a house where pretty much everything is controlled by the internet, right? So you have your phone and you can pretty much control everything from your phones, right? You can turn on and turn off the AC from your phone. You can use your voice to command, you know, the sofa to flip over, the light to turn on, and it actually senses that when you are there, then there are, you know, so let's say if you set the right parameters for the smart home to work, right? You can actually sense that when you are in the house, then the light will turn on, the kitchen will get ready, the fridge will turn on, the aircon will turn on, and so on, right? And when you leave, then you can set for everything to be turned off and something like that, you know. I just so I mean, what I'm trying to say is that now the Internet of Things are pretty much everywhere, right? So that's one example in a smart home, right? When we look at many other things, right? I think we have been talking about. I think I'm not sure of the word, but I think the word that they use is a driverless car. Yeah, it's a driverless car. So it's a car that drives itself, right? So basically all you need to do is you can sit, just, you know, you can just sit it in the car, and then you can just do your work, you know, like could talk to your customer and things like that. And then the car will just drive itself. Okay. We also, you know, talk about other things, right? The types of data that internet actually collect from us, okay, and use it to market products to us, right? I live in a condominium around Ram Khamhaeng area, right? And then I remember just perhaps like a few months ago, I drove past the university around here, and then suddenly something pops up on my phone, just if I want to buy, you know, a self-study book for Ram Khamhaeng and so on, you know. So that's also a part of IoT as well. So it actually keep track of where we are, you know, as a human, right? It actually keeps track of where we are using, you know, the data that we put into the smartphone or put into different applications that we are using, and then it actually use that data to market new products to us and so on. So, and it's not just is so I mean these are some simple examples just to get you to understand what this concept is actually talking about. This is talking about the connection between I would say it's a connection between at least three things, right? The first one is the physical objects that you have. The second one is internet, right? So it's connected to the net. And then the third one is the transferring of data, okay, from your device or from your tools to the net, and then it transfer back to perform certain action. So when there are a lot of interesting and exciting things to be done with IoTs in the future, not just in education, but also in other domains of life as well. So I think IoT have been used in so many domains of humans' life. It has been used in healthcare. It has been used in healthcare, just to track patients' information to see if they are okay. And I think if you're following the news, right, all the new smart watches, I think they can send signal if to perhaps your doctors and someone, if your heart rate is going down, if your oxygen rate is going down, and so on. And they are also used a lot in home appliances, right? We all talk about smart home. I think if you were to buy a new house right now, I think most of the new housing projects that are available or offer some sort of smart home, right? We are talking about smart in infrastructure. It's not just something inside the house, but it's also the whole structure of the house. We also use it for security reason, just to monitor what people are doing, and just to keep the cities and the country safe. We use it in transportation a lot with with how we, and it just some very simple things, right? And I think this has been done in many cities, but not yet in Bangkok. They can actually use the weight that the road can sense, right? The weight of all the cars that the road can send to predict, like how they would alternate the traffic lights between how they can change the traffic lights in one particular section, so if they can see that, okay, this side of the road has a lot of car, based on the weight that the road can sense, they would just give the green light to this a lot more often, and so on, right? But I don't think that has been done in Bangkok, so that's why we still have a lot of traffic jam in Bangkok right now. They also use IoTs in retails, right? If you have been to Siam Discovery, right? There is one shop that I'm not sure what they call it, but I would call it a staffless shop. So it's a shop that basically have all the products, but no staff at all, like no staff at all. Okay, so you would just walk into the shop, you pay using your credit card or QR code and things like that, and you can just take the product and just go back home without having to see any human being. Right? So if you are anti-human, that's a perfect shop for you. Okay, so, and that has been implemented in many countries as well. I think Thailand has started to adopt it, but then it has been implemented in various countries. And I think one of the biggest use of IoT is in industry, right? They use it a lot in production, using like machine production system where everything is connected, and then it's automated. So it's done automatically without interference from human. And there are so many other things that you can do with this type of technology. So I would say the possibility, I mean, this is what we can see that they are doing. This is what they are doing with the technology at the moment. There are still rooms for a lot of improvement in the future as well. All right, so I do have some examples of IoT for you to look at, and then I would like you to think about it. Some of the tools that I will show you today may be familiar to you. Okay, some may be not. So I would like you to make at least a random guess of what it is. Okay. So the first one, I think everybody knows this one. This one is called this one is Siri, right? So it's the no, I forgot the word. It's a speech recognition system from iOS, right? Where you can interact with it, and it actually keeps your data, right? And then it sends it back to everywhere. A lot of the time that you may not know why you get certain application, no, not application, certain ads, right? Being put in front of you on your like Facebook feed or whatever. It is partly, and sometimes you just talk to your friends about something, and then 5 minutes later, when you browse your Facebook feed, right, the advertisement of the product related to what you talked about with your friends just appear on your feed. And that partly because the data that you were talking about was collected through the speech recognition system attached to all the phones that we have. I think this one is the system for iPhone, right? And other different phones company, they all have different system just to collect the data from us. Okay. So the second one, I think it's something that you may be quite you might not be so familiar with, but it has been available for some time. So it's a translation earphone. Okay, so it's a translation earphone. So when you connect this earphone to an app, and you put the earphone into your ear, of course, and when you are talking with people who speak a different language, like let's say if you go to travel in Spain, right, and you talk to a Spanish person who cannot speak English, so what this program does, or this earphone does, is that Spanish person can speak to you in Spanish, right? And then the earphone or the software will translate it into the language that you choose. So it can translate into English, or it can translate it back into Thai as well. Then when you speak, if that particular person has the same earphone, then you can speak to that Spanish person in Thai, and the software will also translate that into Spanish. So it facilitates communication, right? So it actually helps a lot with communicating with other people. However, I'm not very sure if it really helps with language learning, because I think the purpose of learning a language, at least, it's to be able to communicate with people who speak that particular language, right? Or at least, if one of the reasons why we are learning English is because English is the global language, right? It's perhaps a common language that people who have different first languages, when they meet together, we have some expectation that they would speak in English, and that's part of the reason why we learn English in the first place, right? So I mean, this is just to facilitate communication and help people communicate better. But as I mentioned again, I'm not sure if, I mean, it's a cool technology, but I'm not sure if it is beneficial for language learning. Now, the third one, I'm gonna let you guess. Can you tell me what this is? We have studied this in the course, so can you tell me what this technology is? We have already studied about this one in this course.
Identify places.
Sorry?
Identify places.
Identifying places. Okay. Yes. So this technology can help you identify places. What does this technology, how do we call this technology? Anyone? You can type in the answer into the chat box as well, if you don't want to speak. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, it's a relief. So it's an AR, right? It's an AR. So augmented reality, something we studied with Ajahn Yoongi, right, a few weeks ago. So with AR, it takes information, right? And then when you scan it, okay, when you actually scan it, it actually gives you information about different places. I think one of the example, and I make it quite a local example. Let's say if Wat Phra Kaew, right? If Wat Phra Kaew were to create a really good QR code for all different places, right? What the tourists could do with the AR technology is they could just have their phone, and once they scan the QR code, right, it will be, just the picture of some part of the temple appearing on the phone with description of, okay, this part is called, and with history and so on. So it could be used in a various different ways, right? Now, the next one will be more interesting. Okay, can you guess what this one is? Random guess. Random guess. This one. Can you type in the answer in the chat so I know what you're thinking? This one. Does it look familiar at all? Anyone? Anything? Spy gadget. Yeah, that's a very good guess. Anything? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, that's right. It's not actually a spy gadget, but it actually used to track something. So this one, it is called Michigan Micro Mode, right? Just to give you a sense of what it looks like, this one is equivalent to a size of a 1 baht coin, right? So it's a really small one. It's not a microchip. It's a fully functioning PC. It's a fully functioning PC. So if you were able to connect this to a PC, it would give your PC a function. But it's very small, right? It's very, very small. It's only a size of a 1 baht coin. What happens with this is they use it in healthcare. They use it in healthcare industry a lot. What they do with this, they put this in a pill, and they ask patients to swallow it. So basically, you would have a fully functioning CPU in your body. People have done it. And what happens is this particular technology, it monitors your body conditions. It monitor your sugar level, the fat in your blood, and so on. When it detects something wrong, that, oh, today the sugar level in your blood is really high, it sends a signal back to your doctor. So your doctor can know, oh, okay, so my patients may have problems with sugar level. So the doctor would just call and tell you to stop eating like milk tea and so on. So it is a really smart way to monitor how your bodies works, right? And this one is a good example of IoT because it is connected, right? It is connected to some sort of internet outside of your body, and it can also transfer the data in your body back to your potential doctors. Okay. The next one, yes, this one. Can you guess what it is from just looking at the picture? Random guess. Too difficult? Okay, so this is, yeah, I mean, it's a very random thing that I've chosen, right? So this is something they call tectonic. Okay, tectonic. So it's basically a materials and a system where you can put into any rooms. Okay, and it depends on the objective that you would like to use it for. Let's say in healthcare, for example, if you put this in the room, okay, the floor can detect how you walk. Okay, the floor can detect how you walk. Why it is important to detect how you walk, and you may not know this, everybody in the world has a different way of walking. We would put different weight into the floor, right? So somebody walk quite heavily, somebody walk quite lightly, and so on, right? And when you put this into a room, the floor can detect if you're walking, if the manner that you walk is changing, right? And if it is changing, then it may mean that something is not right with you. Okay? And then it again can send a signal back to your doctor, so they can just call and say, hey, I think your the way that you walk may not be normal, so please come in and have a look. It can also help detect different places. Let's say if you put this tectonic floor into a department store, right? The floor can actually detect which part of the department store that people are using a lot and which part of the department store that people are not using, right? So because it can detect how many people walk past that area within one particular day. Okay, let's move on. I still have a few more. Okay, this one, very easy. Can you tell me what it is? This one, very easy. I think some of you may have used. Yes, contact lens. Now, let's take it one step further. How can you use contact lenses for language learning? How can a contact lens help you learn a language? Or at least help you communicate or understand the language better? Okay, we have some answer here. Translate word, yes, right. So what happens is when you wear this translating contact lens, right? When you walk in a different country and you see the sign, you see announcement, you use this contact lens, it would automatically translate the word for you. Okay, so you don't need to try to understand it in the language that you see, but it will translate it into the language that you prefer. So it may translate Spanish back into English or translate English back into Thai for you. So, it's particularly exciting, really. And next one, this one is what they call Google Glass, okay? Google Glass. So, it can basically takes you anywhere in the world with the VR technologies, right? So if you wear this glass, then you can turn it into a different, it can take you to anywhere that you want to see. And the same principle with contact lenses also apply here. So you can also use, you can also have information overlaid on your glasses, right? So you can translate pretty much everything, and then you can have translation presented to you on your glasses. Okay. That's something that is particularly exciting from a linguistic and technological perspective. I'm not sure what the experience will be like if you have to wear glasses and you have to have a lot of text in front of your eyes, right? So from a technological point of view, it looks really exciting. From an experiential viewpoint, I'm not sure. It might be very weird for us to just having to have all the text in front of us. This one is also a technology that keeps tracks of when we talk about wearable technology, like Apple Watch, like all the running smart watches and things like that. It keeps tracks of a lot of things, right? It keeps track of your heart rates. It keeps track of your steps, right? It keeps tracks of your locations and so on. With this one was created for a different objective, right? This one is something they call it's the technology called Capture. So with Capture, right? When you wear Capture and you walk around different parts of the towns, right? Or you take Capture with you anywhere. When you want to record something, right? Just record something new that you learn, record your new experience that you may forget. You can just press it and you can say anything, right? Your speech can last for like 3 to 5 minutes. And after you finish, it automatically records what you say into an app, and you can go back and listen to what you felt at that time at a later date. Okay, so it helps with keeping track of the data. This one. Can you tell me what this is? This looks very familiar.
Smart kitchen.
Yeah, it's a smart kitchen. Okay. But it's not just a regular smart kitchen. It's a smart kitchen for language learning. They created this particular smart kitchen for language learning. So basically, everything that you touch, right? Everything that you touch, it will give you instruction. So if you touch, let's say if you touch the stove, it will say, okay, this is the stove for blah, blah, blah. If you want to do this, and things like that. So it can be pre-programmed for different types of food as well. So if you want to cook spaghetti, it will tell you to do like a list of things that you need to do and so on. And you need to talk back to them Okay, you also need to talk back to them so they can actually understand what you are doing, right? So it's a more interactive ways of learning a language. Apparently we don't have one in Thailand, but I mean there are a few smart kitchen specifically designed for language learning in many different parts of the world. All right, okay. So now we have looked at different tools that we can use, right, to learn language, or some of the cutting edge technologies that are available to us. Now, what we are going to look at next is the potential of IoT for language learning. And there are some really potentially interesting angles that we can look at. So I think we can classify the potential of IoT language learning into 3 broad areas: mobility, augmentation, ubiquity, right? And I'm going to talk about this each, okay, more in details. So let's have a look at the first one, mobilities, right? So we are familiar with the word mobile, right? So it can be moved and things like that. So there are 5 main characteristics of mobile technology that are potentially useful for language learning. First one is portable. So you can take it with you anywhere. So that means you can learn language anywhere, right? Not just sitting in the classroom or sitting in your house. You can pretty much learn language on the bus. You can learn it. I think they use the word language learning on the go, right? So you can always learn language everywhere you go. The second one is social interactivity. So with mobile phones, you have more opportunities to interact with other people, okay, in different ways, right? Using text message, using voiceover. Now with Lines and WhatsApp, you can send your voice, and then other people can send their voice back, and so on, right? So it allows you to interact more with other people. The third one is context sensitivities. I think when you use mobile phones, it's very contextualized. Okay, so when you walk to different places, right? So it gives you different information, okay, and it's just very contextualized in the way that you can learn a language in a more localized way. The fourth one is connectivities, and of course you are connected to not just people from different parts of the world, but also from different resources that are available to you online. And the last one is individuality. So I think, at least in my point of view, with mobile technologies, it allows people to be more individuals, right? Just in terms of how they learn, where they learn, what they want to learn. And it also gives all the platforms and all the resources to be presented to you in a more personalized way, right? So, I mean, if you and your friends have different interests, the content that is presented to you will be quite different based on your interests. And here I'm talking about language learning, right? I'm not talking about selling products. So let's say if some of you, let's say if you and your friends, one of you likes to watch series on Netflix, right? Some of you like to watch, like to listen to music. What mobile technology can do is it can keep feeding you with the content that you like, so that it will increase the likelihood of you interacting with the content and eventually learn the language. Okay. Right, so that's the first one. The second one is augmentation. Okay, augmentation. So it's AR, right? So augmented reality. So it's the integration of digital information with the user environment real time. So it can augment your learning, right? So it's just when you walk into different places, you can just scan it and you can learn the new language as well. I mean, if you create one AR app particularly for language learning, it could be that you have your phone, right? You walk to different places, you scan that. So let's say if we want to do an AR application for Wang Kha Phra campus for language learning, right? We could just walk around, we could create different vocabulary for different parts, right? And then the next, perhaps the next batch, when they come in, they can just use the application. They can just go to Ajahn Sin, Rupan Ajahn Sin, right? And then when they scan it, it will appear as, like statues, so they would be able to learn the words along the way, so there are a lot of potential with augmentation as well, especially with AR technology. Okay, I'm gonna skip this part. The last is ubiquity. Okay, ubiquitous means everywhere, right? So the information is everywhere because the information is everywhere, and a lot of information when you put online, it's permanent. Okay, so you can always come back to it. Since internet is free in many countries, it gives people more accessible. It gives them more accessibility to resources for free. It's very immediate, so it's updated very often. It's interactive again, so you can interact with people from different parts of the world. Always on learning, so you can always learn, right? Everywhere you go, every time that you want to learn. And in many ways, it gives you more experiential learning. So it's not just learning in the classroom, but with the IoT technologies, it allows you to have more immersive experience, right? In when you learn, okay, something, right? And it doesn't always take place in the classroom. It's often involved going and doing it by yourself. The next one is a very interesting one, incidental learning. Okay? Incidental learning means that you do not learn the language intentionally, but rather incidentally, right? So it's just like you walk to different places, okay, in different parts of the world, and let's say you can use your AR to scan, or you can use your translation software to translate the words and things like that, and you learn a new word as a byproduct from doing that. So that's something we call incidental learning, right? So you learn not because you want to learn, or not because you intend to learn, but you learn because it happens, right? And then you pick up something new. And the last one is it is social learning, right? So you are learning through having interaction with other people. Okay. So as I mentioned, there are three broad areas of potential of IoT in language learning. First is mobile, so you can learn anywhere. Okay. Second is augmentation, so it can actually augment your learning experience. And the last one is it's ubiquitous, so it's pretty much everywhere, everywhere. So it can be learned in various different ways, right? Now, we have looked at the bright side. Now we are going to be looking at some of the challenges and concerns with IoT. Not so much of it is to do with language learning itself, apparently. I think it's more to do with some general concern about the technologies itself. The first one is the privacy and security issues, right? I mean, when we put everything online, how the way that they make use of the data that we have. We don't know really. We don't really know, right? We don't really know what the data go into, how they use the data, and different people have different level of sensitivity. I was looking for the word sensitivity with data protection. Some people don't care. They can just use my data, right? Some people are more concerned with data, you know, that all the different platforms will use the data will sell our data to different companies so that they can put the right advertisement, you know, into our social media feed and so on. So it's very different. But I think it's something that we need to concern as well when we use all the data, because we are inputting a lot of personal data, okay, into all these technology as well. The next, and this is the last issues that I would like to talk about, digital well-being. Okay, digital well-being. It's a very, very important concept. Not sure if people are actually aware of it, right? Digital well-being means that you are able to balance your online life with your offline life, okay? And it's not always easy because, you know, now we are surrounded by all different gadgets and technology, right? You may want to use some tracking tool just to tell you, okay, how many hours do I use my phone per day? How many hours do I sit in front of my computer? How many hours do we stay away from technologies? And you know, you need to really try to balance that, because I mean, if you don't use it well, if you do not balance your life well, you may have a lot of negative consequences, especially in terms of your health in the long run, right? So, you know, it's something that you need to really be aware of and manage. And, you know, with IoT, this one is even more crucial than with any other technologies, because with IoT, it means that everything that you are surrounded with is connected to internet in some way. You may say, oh, I don't use my phone for 1 hour. Yes, of course, but then you still wear your smartwatch and you still look at your smartwatch, you know. So I think it's something that we need to be very much aware of, because we might not, I think we haven't lived long enough to see the negative consequences that of using too much technology has on us. One of the ways that we can do, and I think perhaps I talked about this, is called digital detox, right? Yeah, digital detox is, you know, a way that you can stay away from digital life, you know. And the thing I've mentioned with you that, you know, I do digital detox every Sunday afternoon, right? So I don't touch my phone, I don't answer email. I only spend time with people, or at least alone, reading books, like from basically around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday until about 8 or 9 o'clock, and you know, just check a little bit my phone before I go to bed. Okay, so you know, it gives you a really good way to stay away from all the social media and digital life for a while. You know, I really encourage everyone to try that. Okay, it's something that will really help you balance your life, and especially when we are surrounded by all the IoTs. Okay, all right, so yeah, I think I have spoken too much now. So what I'm going to ask you to do as a group, is, All right, so we now looked at different potentials of IoTs and so on, right? What I am going to do right now is I'm going to ask you to work in a groups of 3 or 4 people and you can think of one IoT item you are familiar with. So if you're working in a group of 3 to 4 people, you may think of perhaps like 2 items, right? 2 items. So let's say I'm going to edit it. So it's not going to be just one. So let me change it to 2 IoT items. Okay. Okay. 2 IoT items you are familiar with. Okay. Think about how the items can facilitate language learning, and you can provide some example as well. Also, I would like you to also think about the concern you have with the technology. So I give you 15 minutes to work in groups with your friends. Then after 15 minutes, you can also take the break now as well. When we come back, then I will ask each group to briefly, and when I say briefly, it means just, about 2 to 3 minutes to talk about the items and to share with us your thoughts on the potential of the items on language learning, as well as some of the concerns that you have with the technologies, right? Okay, so I'm going to create a breakout room for you right now. So we have 15, so that should be like 4 groups. Okay. Then I give you about okay. Then now it's 11:13. Let's say I give you until 11:33 to take a break and also work on this. And then when we come back, I will ask each group to share some of the ideas. Okay, let's do it. Let's go.